Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel Made with Love. My name is Heather. Today I'm just doing a whole bunch of back-to-back quick videos of Easter crafts. I was at the Dollar Tree this morning because we're getting really close to Easter, and I found these two little wooden crosses. I went through all my scrapbook paper and I only have one piece left of the wood grain. So I'm going to be using Mod Podge today. I haven't done that for a while. I just realized my paintbrushes are, I'm not sure. I just went to realize I grabbed up the Mod Podge, the paper, everything, and I forgot to grab paintbrush. I'll be right back. Okay, I grabbed my little container with paintbrushes in it. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the paper. I just got to make sure I get the wood grain going the right direction. I'm just going to angle this down so you can see what I'm doing. So I've got it upside down. The wood grain is this way. So I'm going to trace out my crosses on here. Pencil. Of course, I just dropped my pencil when I went to reach for the paintbrushes. Maybe I have one in. Sometimes I've got pencils and things in the little caddy. I've got a little pen. And it's brand new. I've got to take that little cap part off. Okay, so I'm just going to line this up. I'm just going to trace around here. Okay, and the same with the other one. I'm just going to lay it down. I'm just going to trace around this one as well. Okay, so I've got the crosses just roughly traced on here. Now this cross does have the cutout part, and I'm going to deal with that after. What I've decided to do is for that cutout part, this one's not even open yet either. So I've got a whole bunch of new scrapbook paper. I found these at these ones are from Dollarama, even Dollar Tree. In the last year, they brought in lots of neat little packs. And this one here has got the gold and silver, and it's got the really shiny stuff, and then it even has the glittery ones. So for this one here, I thought I'm going to use the silver. The silver glitter, so when I put the cross on, and you'll see the silver through the center of the cross. I thought that's what I'd like to do for that one. But I'm going to just get this all cut out first. I'm just going to grab my scissors. I'm just going to cut these crosses out. I'm not too worried about, exact size because it's Mod Podge. I'm just going to cut it a little bit bigger than my lines, just so when I get them done I can do the little bit of sanding around just to smooth out the corners. So this is my last piece of this wood grain scrapbook paper, so I'm trying to be careful so I can get these both cut out and have enough for overlap so I can, the way I do my Mod Podge is I always try to cut, usually what I do is I don't cut this out. I'll cut it a little smaller to generally fit, and then Mod Podge it in place, and then I sand off the extra. But this was the only piece of this one left, so I'm trying to kind of cut it out so I can do this. So I can get two crafts done with the one piece of paper. Not often do I have to worry about this. It's been a while since I've had this problem where I'm actually out of scrapbook paper. I've got a lot of seasonal stuff, but I guess I'm gonna have to go through and see what I have. So I was gonna save those because I had another plan with this. Actually, I had bought this piece for something else that I had to do, but it looks like I'll probably have to go back to Michael's and get one more piece of that paper. Anyway, so there's the crosses are cut out. And I said, no, I'm going to start with this one because it's the solid one. Just going to make sure that this will fit on here because, see, where's the, just want to get a nice clean line right along the base. This little bit at the top, just a little more off, just so I've got there. So now I'm just going to open the Mod Podge. You know, once in a while that happens. I think I've glued that one shut. This is my brand new one. I don't like to open one when I've got one, but I'm gonna have to stop because I can't even get this. I broke my nails off. So just give me 1 minute. I have to pause while I just quickly try to open the Mod Podge. Sorry about that. Just having trouble opening the Mod Podge. Just gonna put the lid back on the craft knives and move them out of my way. Okay, so I'm just going to put some of the glue down, just a nice even coat. I managed to get this one open so I didn't have to start the new one because I said I don't like having multiple bottles of it opened if I don't need to. Good, layer down. And then I'm just going to take this, I'm just going to press it in place and just smooth it all out. It's a little tricky because this has the little stand on it. So I'm just going to put the camera back down. So you can see where I had my pen line, and you can see that my pen line was quite a ways away from the edge because I was trying to leave a gap there. And then I cut just so I've got a lot of extra overhang that I probably didn't need, but sometimes I like to give myself that extra little bit of overlap in case I cut crooked. See up top, when I had cut that top part off, I cut it exactly right across the top. So I was trying to avoid doing that because the overlap didn't give me as much as I thought it would. It's bubbled up in a spot here. Just trying to smooth the bubbles out. Now I'm just going to take the Mod Podge, and I'm just going to put it on the outside of the paper so it will stiffen up this paper. But when I do this, you can see right where it had bubbled up on me. So get nice long strokes. You get less brush strokes. I can't quite see where the bottom of the jar. I just don't want to put my paintbrush all the way in too far into the brush, into the glue. Okay. Just move this out. And then again, like right where the paper things, I just want to have a nice small even strokes here, but I'm trying to get it in a way so that where the main cross is, the brush strokes go straight down from the top, from the top to the bottom, and then on the sides I just want the short strokes to go from like kind of like just where the center crosses over to make the one arm, just to there, and then just from there to there, so I get the brush strokes going two different directions. So it kind of does give you that it's in, the cross was made in sections like it would normally be made. I'm just gonna like that. I'm just gonna set that off to the side to dry, and when it dries, I said I'll trim off some of the excess with the razor blade, and then I will take the sanding block and I'll just go around the edges. I'm just gonna let that dry for a little bit. So now it's this one. I have to glue this onto here, but because I've got this center here and I wanted to put this glitter in the center, so I've got to line this up and try to figure out how I'm just going to do this. I'm not quite sure. I do want some overlap. Let's see. I'm just going to put this over the edge of the table just so I can line this up and get this paper as flat as possible here. Okay. There. Oh, this is going to be a little trickier, but oops. Grab my pen. Just gonna trace the cross. But now this one is a little bit different because I want to be able to get the glitter to be glued on the back. So it gives me my size of the cross that I need, but I want to keep it like a square, so I've got a good rectangle piece to work with. So I'm just gonna do this, and then I'm just gonna make some other little lines just so I know where the so I know how big the cross actually is, so I get that shape. So that's what I'm going to cut out, is just I'm just going to cut this out just like this. Just making sure I've got it all lined up. And then I'm just going to cut these corners off. this. So when I glue this on, and you'll see the cross that way. And what I'm going to do is, I've got to glue. This will be glued onto the back like this. And I'm going to glue this one here onto the front. And I'll have... Oh, excuse me. I've had a lot of wind lately and there's just a lot of dust in the air. Oh. Okay, so glue the glitter one on the back. And I'll glue this one on the front. And then I'm going to cut out the cross shape in this one. But I'll have to wait till I get this glued down. Let's see, unless I can put this too. Well, maybe I can, because if I lay this down on the table, just gotta line this up. So I said I wasn't quite sure how I was gonna do this cross. Like that, okay. Okay, so I'm gonna do that, and I guess I'll just cut this cross out. Let's see, just move this over. I'm gonna use my cutting mat as a straight edge. Just going to use this as a straight edge. I don't actually want to cut my cutting mat. Just, I don't think I have any, like a actual ruler up here at the moment. Some parts didn't cut all the way through. I don't know. Make sure that I got this right before I do anything else. Okay, got that right. I'm just going to push this down like I did to the other one so I can right where the, and cut it right where the base is. Okay, now I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to grab the Mod Podge and just put it on here. Nice even coat. And of course it's all dripping right through the center and onto my mats. This one I gotta be a little more careful winding this up. I'm just gonna put some Mod Podge over top of the paper. Just be careful I don't get too much in where the spaces are. And same thing, I'm just going to go in the one direction and as long even strokes as possible. And then out to the sides, I'm just going to go from like the center part outward to get the nice even strokes the other direction. And as this glue dries, it's going to stiffen up the paper and it's going to make it very easy to just trim off and use the sanding block to get rid of all the extra paper. Good coat on here. Just a clump of the glue, just get that off. Good coat on there. I'm just going to let this all dry. Just got a little bit where it just bubbled right there. I'm just going to press it down. Just need to get a little more glue right where I just touched it. I'm just going to leave this. It's going to take a little while to dry. Really good. So I'm just going to let these dry and I'll come back to the next step when they are both fully dried. Okay, well I used the hot glue gun to dry the glue. Still a little bit, I probably should wait a little longer. This one, of course, I'm going to have to wait longer because I think I'm going to have to re-glue. When I use the hot glue, or not the hot glue, when I used the blow dryer, it kind of lifted one of the corners up, so I had to put a little more glue underneath. It might be dry now, but I'm going to set that aside. So I'm just going to work on this one first. So I'm just going to take this thing, X-Acto knife, that's the word, I couldn't remember, and I'm just going to go just around the edge. Not perfectly around, just to get I don't know, having trouble. This one's not going through the paper all the way, so I'm going to try the other one. If this one doesn't work, I did buy some brand new ones, so I'll probably end up having to get grabbing the brand new one then. Just get the mat more under the cross. This just does not want to work very good either. Oh, there, that's not working. Maybe I just wasn't pushing hard enough. There. Now it's working. Maybe, maybe not. Huh. Working a little bit better than the other one. Now see, it's just shredding. Okay, well, I've got the sanding block, so I'm just going to see if the sanding block will smooth that out. There, that's working a lot better. Yeah, that's giving it a really nice, crisp finish to it now. I really like that. I wish I would have just started with just the sanding block and not tried to do the X-Acto knife, or should have gone and grabbed the sharper ones. It's hard to get into these corners. This cross is not straight. This cross has kind of flared up a little bit, so it's a little tricky around in the corners. I can't really seem to get into the corner with the sanding block. But I'm just going to keep working on it. And because I've got a few spots here and there where when I was using the X-Acto knife, it kind of ripped the paper a little, so I'm just going to try to create that, make it look like that's what I wanted. So I'm just going to go across up onto the sides here. I'm just going to give it more of that, more of a rustic, rough edge look. I'm just going to file at the corner, see if I can file some of that paper away. You kind of get some of the wood grain effect. So I'm going to do that all around all the edges. So it's kind of look more like a really weathered, more of a weathered cross. So it's not going to be like a sharp, clean lines. I'm kind of liking the way it's starting to look like that. I'm also just kind of sanding just these edges anyways, because they're quite sharp in some spots. I'm just kind of sand the sides down just a little bit to make them a little smoother. Mean to do that. I have to glue that. Just trying to get a little bit of the thing layered. Lift it up there. I didn't mean to actually lift a big chunk out. Just going to put some Mod Podge over that and just fix that spot. But it really evened it out. It really started to make, you can see all the little edges and little nicks and stuff. So it's starting to look like it's an older cross instead of something you've just bought, something I just bought today and just started gluing together. It looks like it's been around for a while. Because of those mistakes, I think I might even put some twine on this. I'm not one who does the twine on many things, but once in a while, I think there are certain projects where twine would look good. Set that aside. Now I've got this one. So after the mistake I made on that one, I am not going to use the X-Acto knife. I'm just going to use the scissors. I'm just going to trim off what I can. Then I'm just going to use the sanding block for the rest of it. little more of this one here off. There. Oops. I'm just going to grab the sanding block and I'm just going to sand it off. So I get a really nice clean edge on this one. Now this one is the one where we're going to have that inner cross. It's going to glue from the back. So I got to get this all done before I can do that. See, it's got such a much better, cleaner, crisper edge to it just using the sandpaper or the sanding block. You can use sandpaper. I have done that before, where before I found these sanding blocks, I've just used just a piece of sanding paper. I don't know what the grit is on these. I think every side is a different texture to it. I don't know the grits on sanding paper. But usually if I'm doing a quick little craft, I just go out to the garage and just grab a little chunk off of whatever was the last sanding paper my husband was using. But you do notice it's got such a much nicer, crisper, clean edge versus this one that he said the X-Acto knife was kind of wrecking. So I'll get the two crosses will have a completely different look to them, which is kind of what I wanted anyways, because they're both the crosses were, you know, two different styles of cross. So I kind of wanted them to be able to be beside each other but not be identical. It's got much nicer finish to it. Just kind of lost my place as to where I was working. Right in this corner here. Again, this has got these little corners and it's hard to get in the sanding block. lot of dust now. I've almost got this one done. I just got to fix right here. And I just got to finish this side here. And then I can move to the next step, which will be Mod Podging from the back to get the silver cross on. Gonna brush this stuff aside for a second. Just gonna kind of just lift that corner up a little. That's okay, because I'll be putting another coat of Mod Podge over top of the whole thing when I get it finished. I'm just gonna lay this down. Just gonna find this to make sure I got this cut right, and just want to make sure that when it's on there, you'll be able to see that. So I'm just going to cut this just a little smaller now. Just so it doesn't hang over the edge. Make sure that this that when I've got it glued down, it will cover the whole cross area, and I think it will. So now I'm just going to get the Mod Podge. I'm just going to put a little down. Now, this will probably need a little more glue than this, because this paper is actually a lot thicker than the other piece of scrapbook paper I was using. So yeah, it's lifting up because I don't have enough glue in a couple of corners here. I'm just going to glue it, put the Mod Podge from the back now, just to help seal it in place. So I'm just going to set that to the side to dry. And I said for this one, I said I'm going to grab my twine. I was going to put some twine on here, so I'll be right back. Okay, well I found my little bit of the jute twine. I don't know where I got this from. Doesn't look like anything I buy. I probably got it in a bag of stuff from a secondhand store. But what I also found was this is the cork ribbon. I like to open it. I found this little, maybe 6 months or so at the dollar store. I bought one roll. Just kind of curious as to what it looks like. Yeah, it's just a little thin ribbon and it's with the cork. Just curious to see how. No, I don't like the cork. I saw it and I thought maybe, but no, it's just a little too thick. So I'm just going to stick with the jute cord here. And I'm just going to just do that so I get the sorry, like I said, we've had a lot of wind the last couple days, so just a lot of extra dust in the air. Okay. Just gonna do this so I get two really nice little bunches of the jute twine going across there, so it looks like they're holding the cross together. I'll be hot gluing that. My glue gun's just not plugged in, so I'm just going to set this aside, and I will just glue this as soon as my glue gun is plugged in and heated up. And here is this one. It's still a little tacky at the back, but there's what it looks like. I just got to clean up because I've got some of the glue spilt in here. Just gonna clean that up. Now with the glue in there, it's changing the way the glitter looks. So I guess I'm gonna just take the Mod Podge. I'm just gonna coat the crosses, and I'll get a nice even coating of it, and then the whole center of the cross will all look even if I just put a thin little coat when it dries. It's not what I want. I was trying to prevent getting glue inside here, but couldn't be helped. Oh, stick some little bit of glue in there. Will also help hold it down because I can see at the back it's still kind of bunching up at the couple of little corners in the back. There. Now just so they look the same, I'm just deciding if I want to put a little bit of the jute across here. I don't think so. Maybe some across the bottom. No, I don't think I want to do that. I think I'm just going to leave this one like this. So I will be putting another coat of Mod Podge over top. As for the bases and the sides and the backs, I'm not sure if I'm going to paint them. I might, especially the back of this one. I'll probably cover it with something, just so people see the back, they don't see that. As for the bases, I'm not sure. I'll think about that, and if I do decide to do something, I'll show you guys. But there's that one, and there's that one. So we made two crosses for Easter. They're both very different, even though, like I said, they're both just the wooden crosses from the dollar store, and I used the exact same sheet of scrapbook paper to cover them. I just want to say again, thank you to everybody who's watching my videos and subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video.